Sure. So shortly after 1:30 p.m. today, Columbus fire crews were dispatched to a report of an auto accident at 270 and 161 on the east side. As they were responding, they saw a large column of smoke. They then upgraded that to a report of a fire. When they arrived, there was an overturned fuel tanker that was carrying approximately 8,500 gallons of fuel that had caught fire prior to our arrival. And so at that point, it turns into a hazmat run with a fire, and our crews began to work on that scene.
Yes, take us through how you guys, were able to handle this huge fire that people were seeing from miles away.
Yeah, so we collaborated with our partners. Franklin Township has a foam truck that we called in, and then also Port Columbus or John Glenn sent their truck that's at the airport to come help us, and that really did the majority of the work to extinguish the fire.
With this kind of heat, does that make it more challenging for crews to get the fire out, to make it spread more easily?
No, it doesn't spread. I think if it was a sustained event for some hours, the crews start to feel that heat, working in this kind of heat, but it doesn't really impact the fire part of it, no.
And like you said, no one was injured.
The driver of the truck was transported to Riverside, stable condition.
Still in Riverside, or?
I believe so, yes.
What were the nature of the driver's injuries?
I don't know that. Yeah, just our crew said he was stable. Speaking, like that kind of stuff.
Any idea what may have caused the overturn? Was it a traffic issue, or maybe a bend in the road?
That'll be a police situation to investigate the cause.
Okay.
Cleanup efforts with that much gasoline, how do you go about that?
Yeah, so a large majority of that burned off. However, there is still some remnants, and so Ohio EPA has been notified, Franklin County EMA, Columbus Public Health, all of our partners are going to respond, to help clean that up. But I believe most of the fuel at this point is still in part of the fuselage, the tanker, and so there's not any active leak into the ground at the moment or anything like that.
And you guys posted about for people living east of I-161. Is that still true? Should they be?
No, that's been lifted. We just do that in the early stages, try to get on social media, update anyone near the area. So obviously smoke's always a toxin, whether it's a campfire or something like this. We just want to make sure that there's not an extended threat here. It's just that if you have had breathing issues before, medical concerns, we want you to close your windows and not expose yourself to that.
That accident caused multiple lanes to be backed off. Traffic was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you expect that to be that way, or is it starting to open up?
So we've asked ODOT to come in and inspect the one overpass because part of that is damaged. So they're the experts on whether the bridge can be reopened. So as far as a timeline, I don't have that at this time.
Would you encourage people to avoid that area?
Absolutely.
That bridge right now?
Yeah. I would avoid the northeast side if you can on the freeways at the moment.
Some of those pictures that we saw with the large plume of smoke, pretty extreme. Like you were saying, though, just how do you guys approach a situation like that when it is that big?
Yeah, so we're trained for these. We have a lot of great resources at our fingertips to call on, when these arise. And so, the Columbus Fire Crews, along again with our partners, really quickly were able to contain it. It does take some time to get the foam in place. We have to get that from different areas. And so that's a little bit of the extended time, but overall, considering what happened, it was extinguished pretty quickly.
When you're responding to something like that, do you have to, is part of the process staying back at some proximity? Is there any sort of explosion risk when you're responding to something like that?
I think it's just part of our constant analysis as we arrive on a scene, whether it's a large one like this or just an average fire, is to assess the risk that's going on. At first we'll certainly stay back. We have to get close enough to assess it, but before we commit our people into a dangerous spot, we have to make sure we have all the resources in place and that we're ready to manage it.
Specifically which lanes?
So it was 270 south, it's on an off ramp, so 270 southbound to State Route 161 eastbound. It was on the off ramp. On the off ramp, yep.
Anything else you want to say?
Had great support from one of the volunteer organizations called Box 15. They support us on hot days, cold days. They come out. They have resources for us, water, Gatorade, those kind of things, and always grateful to have them respond. And like I said, it's a volunteer group, so.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah,
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching the ABC6 News YouTube channel.
Bringing you breaking news, stories, sports, and original content throughout Central Ohio.
Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out.
ABC6 News is on your side.